would like to call upon Mr. Mahesh Kulkarni. He is there from the Praj Industries. We all know Praj Industry. We also know Mahesh Kulkarni doing a lot of newer coming out with many newer technologies. Today he is going to talk about biosyrup, because we are talking about ethanols, and we are trying to emphasize on or trying to stress upon how we can operate the distilleries round the year. So we need feedstocks. We are talking about divergence of the feedstocks from the sugar factories, and now we are talking about the dual feed based distilleries also, when we are talking about the feedstocks from the sugar industry and the grains and all that. But how to keep syrup for longer duration of the time, or how to keep be heavy for longer duration of the time to operate the distillery, it is a challenge. So it is over to you, Mr. Mahesh Kulkarni, for your presentation.
Thank you, respected sir. I'm just sharing my presentation. So I hope all of you can see my PPT.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, so
thank
you, sir, and thanks for the respected dignitaries at the dais and CI for giving Praj this opportunity. So perhaps I don't want to spend more time about mentioning about the Praj, but very proudly I would like to mention here we are now almost a 30-year-old company, and in the bioethanol and sugar business, if you see, most of the 8% of the total global ethanol and about the 70% of the domestic ethanol is produced from the Praj's installations. And we have more than 350 years of the 350 plus references across the globe in more than 75 countries, and total references across the globe are 750. So perhaps Praj is very much focused on the biomobility platform, and we are offering the technologies for the biofuel segment, which includes the first generation ethanol, cellulosic, second generation biodiesel, biomethanol, biodriven sustainable aviation fuel, marine biofuels, and RNG, not only from the biomass, but even the press mud from the sugar industry. So if you see today sugar industry, the sugar industry is, there's a dilemma in the industry and the in context to the policies and the government initiatives. Perhaps there is a surplus sugar in the market. Then there is a dilemma that the sugar mills are operating seasonally. So whether there will be an availability of the alternate feedstock for the production of the ethanol, which is the need of the hour in context to the ethanol blending program. Then very much rightly mentioned by the Narendra Mohan sir, statutory compliance for zero liquid discharge. So some of the plants are having the conventional technologies like biomethanation followed by BMSW operation and composting. But now the mandatory is the incineration boiler route, where you have to completely burn the concentrated spent wash into the ash and generate steam and power and manage the overall balance in the sugar industry as well as the attached ethanol plant. The fourth important challenge in front of sugar industry is the water scarcity and carbon footprint. So over a period of time, we are always talking about the water scarcity, especially for the distillery, which is designed for the zero liquid discharge. And in that context, we have to recycle all the recycle streams available in the process plant and bring in the problem, manage the problem of the water scarcity. On the other hand, there is one more point which is perhaps unaddressed by the sugar industry or ethanol industry in India, that is the carbon footprint. See, today we are talking about the greenhouse gas emissions, and we are emitting or exhaling the carbon dioxide through our fermentation plant, and that is contributing to the GHG emissions. It is not only the carbon dioxide, but VOCs, volatile organic constituents, that also going out into the environment. So we are very much adhered to the Paris Accord in context to the carbon footprint. You must have seen on the Google that our government is very much bullish on the achieving the carbon footprint. The fifth point is the efficient asset utilization. So since there is increased demand in ethanol, so existing facilities are trying to increase their capacity by using the existing assets, whatever it is, fermentation, distillation, and with minimum capex, how they can increase the plant capacity. So in context to that, what are the customer expectations? Perhaps yield improvements, steam economy, plant efficiencies, maximizing production, that are given. But most important, the expectations are the feedstock availability. Can we operate the round year plant? How can I increase the capacity of the existing facility with the minimum capital investment? What will be the execution time? Because there will be tenders coming up for the supply of the ethanol. So we want to produce the ethanol with a higher capacity using the existing assets within the minimum execution time. And most important is the flexibility in operation. So when I say flexibility in operations, mean today we are very much focusing on the plant which will be designed for the multi-feedstock. So it is not only the raw materials which are available from the sugar industry, but the alternate feedstock, including grains. So today's scenario, to achieve this demand, we have to design a plant in context of the multiple feedstock. As far as Praj is concerned, Praj perhaps is the only company who has studied the feedstocks across the globe, and almost more than 7,000 samples has been collected across the globe and tested at the Praj Matrix Research and Development Center. And perhaps this information that this data has given Praj to develop the advanced technologies, accommodate the various recycle streams into the process plant and deliver the efficiencies as well as the yield. Praj being an innovative company, we have proven the technologies. We have commercialized many disruptive technologies since the company has started, perhaps from 1985. And every year we are launching the new technology. We are commercializing the technologies for the sugar and ethanol industry. So for the value maximization in context to the sugar industry, what are the various feedstocks that is available to convert that into the ethanol? So perhaps molasses, C, B heavy molasses, sugarcane juice, sugarcane syrup, and for the new government policies, we can use also the bio syrup. So that way we can reduce the production of the sugar, and we can divert that sugar for the round air operation of the distillery. So sugarcane syrup and bio syrup would be the add-on the raw materials which will be coming from the sugar industry. And perhaps these multiple feedstocks perhaps help in asset utilization as well as giving the flexibility to run the distillery round air operation and meeting the environment norms with the appropriate technology and connect to the future and production of the multi-feed and multi-products. So today we are talking about only the beverage alcohol, but today the distillery complex is well upgraded with the advanced technologies and can flexibly produce not only the beverage alcohol or fuel ethanol, but including the pharma and perfumery grade ethanol with the advanced technologies. So when we are talking about the sugarcane syrup as a feedstock, definitely there are advantages. Using the sugarcane syrup, we can run the distillery for extended days of operation along with the C molasses, so that it gives an opportunity to maximize the production of the ethanol. Again, another thing is this is the feedstock which doesn't have any dependency on for the feedstock or the fuel, etc. It also gives the flexibility in operation in context to the balance between the sugarcane production as well as the ethanol production. And most important for all of us, it increases perhaps minimum 50% of the users, increases the capacity with the 50% with the minimum investment. But there are certain challenges when we spoke to the various industries, and we have received the feedback that there are certain challenges when you are using syrup as a raw material. So there, what are the observations or the feedback from the sugar industry? Almost 8 to 10% of the lower ethanol yield. Then almost high spent wash generation, especially 6 to 6.5 liter per liter of alcohol. And perhaps it has a low total solids because there are no more inorganic solids, unlike your molasses C. Another important thing is the low spent wash concentration, which is going to the boiler, because today most of the distilleries are having incineration boiler as the zero liquid discharge effluent treatment system. But that is the concern, that the spent wash concentration is 40 to 45% using these existing evaporators. Another important thing, especially in context of the fermentation, is that this sugarcane syrup, which is devoid of the minerals and the nutrients. So that increases your fermentation time and demands the addition of the supplementary nutrients into the fermentation. Higher support fuel consumption in the boiler due to the high evaporation duties, which I mentioned in the earlier things. Frequent corrosion of some of the equipment in the ethanol dehydration plant. Extended time cycles in fermentation because of the deficiency in the nutrients. And most important thing is the contamination of the syrup during transportation from sugar to sugar distillery. So these are the major concerns which has been shared by the industry in connection to syrup challenges. So perhaps sugarcane syrup cannot be said as the option or the feedstock which can give you the round-the-year solution. As mentioned, some of the challenges, especially the contamination. There is no possibility of storability of these syrup in the storage tanks, and the less efficiency during the production. So what we have seen in the storability of the syrup is the purity versus storage time. So there is a loss of sugar during the storage because of the bacterial contamination. So that's why Praj did the work at the Praj Matrix Research and Development Center and developed the technology that is biosyrup. So this technology is a proprietary technology developed by the Praj. So if you see, the biosyrup is the only solution in context to the storage of the cane syrup in the storage tank. So biosyrup is nothing but the inverted sugar cane syrup, which is concentrated up to 82 to 85 degree Brix to maximize the shelf life of the cane juice. So Praj invested the money in the installation of the commercial demo plant, because Praj never launched the technologies unless it has been proven at the pilot scale and at the commercial demo plant. So we have the success stories. Even in the second generation, we have set up a commercial demo plant near Pune. So same is the case. We invested money and set up a plant at Jaivan Sugars Limited, and we have proven that the syrup can be stored into the storage tanks, and the quality of the syrup which is stored in the storage tank has been tested, evaluated, and approved by the Vasantdada Sugar Institute. And they have mentioned that there is no loss of sugar even during the storage of the 6 months of the biosyrup into the storage plant in the existing plant condition. So for the multiple feedstock based on the syrup as the raw material, we have multiple installations across the globe. Perhaps I want to quote here some of the in Colombia, we have multiple plants with a capacity of 250 kiloliters per day, which are operating on molasses B, as B heavy molasses, as well as the syrup. Then Maple, Peru, which is again a 400 kLPD sugarcane juice to ethanol. Argentina, we have 150 kLPD. So there are multiple references based on the sugarcane syrup across the globe. So perhaps Praj is the only company having multiple installations operating on the multiple feedstock or dual route feedstock with a proven performance. So some of the projects executed by the Praj in India are EID Sugars, MRN Power, Belgi Sugars, Tata Saheb Kore, Swaraj Agro Industries, and we have multiple projects under execution for the based on the sugarcane syrup or the biosyrup as a feedstock in India. Almost we are executing 14 projects of large capacity based on syrup or biosyrup as a feedstock. So coming to the disruptive technologies, sugar for the sugar and ethanol, which can assist in decarbonization. I addressed this was one of the most important point as the emissions or the carbon footprint. So we have the advanced technologies like the shift, which is again a fermentation technology, which reduces your steam consumption almost 25 to 30%. Again, it reduces your fuel consumption in the boiler. It is very simple and compliant to the zero liquid discharge by the CPCB. So that's the very the innovative technology, fermentation technology in context to reduce the carbon footprint. Another innovation in the evaporation and distillation is the application of the mechanical vapor compression. So that also can reduce the steam consumption almost 90 to 95% in the overall energy consuming section, that is distillation, dehydration, and evaporation section. And most importantly, it reduces your 70 to 80% of the cooling water footprint. Another decarbonization innovation is the EcoCool technology. So here also you can see that almost there is a 10 to air-cooled heat exchanger. So here also there is almost 10 to 15% reduction in the utility and power consumption. And it increases your profitability due to the reduced water and energy consumption. So if you see the life cycle analysis for bioethanol plant, again from farm to wheel, so you can see that the almost CO2 emissions, perhaps using the Praj's technology, especially you can see that corn to ethanol, even rice ethanol, and molasses to ethanol. So 9.3 million metric ton of the emissions has been reduced using the Praj's technology. So you can see typically for a grain to ethanol process, the carbon index for a conventional rice to ethanol process is 50. With the add-on innovative technologies, you can see that is reduced to 36 in the process 2, and further innovation, the CI, that is carbon index, is reduced to 19. So that is the Praj's vision, that we aspire to be the most preferred organization for all stakeholders through the innovative technologies, sustainable solutions that can make the world a better place. So always we are focusing on the technologies like biosyrup, as well as the sustainable technologies which can enhance the decarbonization and make this planet better for all of us. Thank you very much.